Then 70% of the components and assemblies were damaged, but the bathyscaphe was quickly restored because underwater tourists brought millions of dollars. The last days of June, the attention of the whole world was focused on the waters of the Atlantic. On the 18th, a bathyscaphe with tourists went to the sunken Titanic. This was far from the first dive of a deep-sea vehicle, so the route could be considered rolled. But still, there were risks. Tourists had to descend almost 4,000 meters under the water, and jewelry accuracy and clarity were required. Literally from the first hours, everything went wrong according to plan. After 1 hour and 45 minutes after the start of the mission, communication with the ship was lost. Almost immediately, the rescue operation began. It was reported that knocks were heard in the water. Perhaps it was a signal from the commander of the ship. But the miracle did not happen. The members of the expedition died in the first hours. British billionaire Hamish Harding, founder of OceanGate operator Stockton Rush, French professional aquanaut Paul Henry Nargol, British businessman with Pakistani roots Shahzad Dawood, and his 19-year-old son Sulaiman are no longer alive. Numerous examinations will help to find out what really happened to the Titan, but most likely the ship exploded. Now engineers say that the Titan was made of insufficiently durable materials, and those who believe in mysticism are inclined to a different version. Fate itself was against such dives. Back in 2018, the bathyscaphe had every chance to sink, but it managed to be pulled out of the water. They tried to avoid this information, but shortly before the fatal dive, the head of OceanGate Expeditions, Stockton Rush, answered journalists' questions Insider.com, and he admitted that the Titan could have gone down 5 years ago. During the tests, lightning struck the device. It was off the coast of the Bahamas. Then the Titan was seriously damaged. Almost 70% of all internal systems were affected. Fortunately, it wasn't a direct hit. A direct hit to carbon fiber would probably put us out of action completely, Rush said in an interview. Lightning struck just a couple of months after the Titan was created and the company started testing. The universe seemed to be trying to warn researchers about the tragedy, hinting that it was not worth risking going down to the bottom of the ocean. But Stockton did not completely abandon the idea, although the first expedition, scheduled for 2018, was still cancelled. The Titan was repaired in a couple of days. Since then, the device has descended with tourists to the Titanic dozens of times. For each such dive, tourists paid more than $100,000. According to experts, the nature of the destruction suggests that it was impossible to save the billionaires. The ship was torn apart in a few seconds. The pressure on it was equivalent to the weight of the Eiffel Tower. Therefore, immediately after the discovery of the first details of the bathyscaphe, all crew members were declared dead. Among them was 61-year-old director of OceanGate Stockton Rush, who operated the bathyscaphe, 58-year-old British billionaire Hamish Harding, 77-year-old pilot of the device, French explorer of the Titanic Paul Henry Nargol, as well as 48-year-old Pakistani-British businessman Shahzad Dawood, and his 19-year-old son Sulaiman. And if all the men agreed to dive on their own, then 19-year-old Sulaiman should not have been on board initially. The wife of Pakistani businessman Shahzad Dawood gave way to her son at the last moment. The couple had wanted to see the sunken liner for many years. But for the first time, the expedition was cancelled due to the pandemic, and now the woman shared this opportunity with her son, who dreamed of collecting a Rubik's Cube at great depth and setting a new record. As a result, Christina and her daughter watched the start of the Titan mission from the mothership. Ever since she was informed about the loss of the signal with the ship, she did not lose hope for a miracle and believed that her loved ones would be saved. She was sure to the last that diving on a bathyscaphe was not fraught with any dangers. The fact is that a few months before the expedition, she and her husband personally met with Stockton Rush, who assured that diving was safer than going outside. And on the ship itself, until the fateful June 18, they all prepared together for the upcoming operation and received safety instructions. It is thanks to this that Christina knows how the last hours of her husband and son's life passed. The entire crew was plunged into pitch darkness without the Titan's headlights on. This was necessary in order to keep the batteries charged, but their favorite music was playing from their phones inside the submarine. Each of the billionaires uploaded certain tracks to themselves. In addition to the songs, the men enjoyed the underwater world.